Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I keep you up to date with all of the latest gaming news, and we're back after another weekend. I hope you enjoyed your weekend, maybe playing some great games. I myself have been playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake all weekend long, and I really do love me some Final Fantasy. What an amazing game and franchise, but I'll leave that topic for another day because we do have a lot of news to talk about, including Xbox Game Pass is having yet another new game launch into Game Pass later this month, and it's from a legendary franchise. It's odd that Xbox didn't highlight this the other day when talking about new Game Pass games for April, but we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Also, it's getting a little bit ridiculous with what Scalpers are now doing with the Nintendo Switch in order to resell the Switch at a much higher price point online, and truly this is just absurd. So we're going to talk about that, and we may even be getting an Xbox Series X event or a PlayStation 5 event sometime in May, so stay tuned for that as well. But first, let's go over some quick news real brief. First up, we have Nier Reincarnation, which when Square Enix announced that they were doing a Nier Guest Out remaster, they did also announce a mobile Nier game, Reincarnation. Now, the thing about that is that most people kind of brushed it to the side, myself included, because honestly, most of the time mobile games aren't all that great. They're often cash grabs or very limited when it comes to gameplay, but Square Enix revealed a new teaser video for Nier Reincarnation. We don't get to see too much on it, but this does seem to be a premium mobile title, and it looks like you will be able to roam complete 3D environments. The graphics look pretty good, and it has that phenomenal music that the Nier franchise is just so well known for. Now, you don't actually get to see too much gameplay, unfortunately, but really it's just a young girl running around with a ghost-like companion. I don't know if there's any kind of combat in this game or not, and it may be more similar to something like the game Journey made by that game company. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell right now based off of this gameplay, but it is looking much better than what I expected. I am a big Nier fan, and right now I'm just hoping this game has controller support when it releases. If so, I'm absolutely in, but yeah, it looks pretty good so far. Also, the indie darling Gris has officially sold more than 1 million units worldwide, which is fantastic for an independent game such as this. If you've never heard of Gris, it's a wonderful and very artistic platformer. I've actually put this game in a few of my own top 10 lists because it really is a good game. It's not just because it's artistic either, because it's actually a lot of fun. Either way though, big congrats to Gris and the developers over at Namada Studios. This is a big accomplishment and well deserved. And for the last quick update before we start talking about some of the bigger stuff, we talked a little bit about this last week, but now it is official. Xbox and CD Projekt Red has revealed a limited edition Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox One X console, along with a new controller. Now this will be releasing in June, well ahead of the official release date for Cyberpunk, which is slated for September, and this console will be extremely limited, which is the main reason I'm talking about it yet again. Reportedly, they will only be making 45,000 units, so if you do want this Xbox One X console, you may not want to wait too long. For me, I said this last week, I would highly recommend just waiting for the Series X to release later this year instead of buying the Xbox One X so close to release. But if you're a collector, I completely understand. And speaking of Xbox, we have another new Xbox Game Pass game for the month of April, and this is a day one launch. I love this aspect of Xbox Game Pass, but this time we are getting Sega's new beat-em-up game, Street of Rage 4 on April 30th. Now, if you grew up in the 90s playing on Sega consoles, you probably recognize Streets of Rage, and it is widely known as one of the best beat-em-up franchises of all time. These were very popular games back in the 90s, but they sadly stopped making these games. Streets of Rage 3 actually released way back in 1994, so we're talking about a 26-year-long gap here. So I imagine fans of this legendary classic franchise has to be excited for Streets of Rage 4, and it does look really good. Sega and Xbox, though, they have had a really good relationship here recently. They just got Yakuza on Game Pass, they teamed up and brought over Phantasy Star Online 2, and now they're releasing Streets of Rage 4 into Xbox Game Pass day one. I'm really liking this partnership a lot, and I hope Sega starts to release more games into Game Pass, and hey, bring over some more JRPGs to Xbox. I mean, the Xbox could always use more JRPGs. And I know I said this last week, but it's been a stellar month for Xbox Game Pass. I don't think people realize this immediately because Xbox does spread their Xbox Game Pass announcements throughout the month, but this month we got a masterpiece in Nier Automata. You have Gears Tactics, it's coming later this month. Then you have Journey to the Savage Planet, which is only a 3-month-old game, and that came over to Game Pass. And now you have Streets of Rage 4, and that launches day one into Xbox Game Pass. I really cannot praise Xbox Game Pass enough, and I know I say this all the time, but it easily is the best deal in all of video games. If you have Xbox, you absolutely need to have Xbox Game Pass, and I'm really excited to play Streets of Rage 4. I like beat 'em ups myself, so I'm there day one. What about you though? Are you excited to play Streets of Rage 4? Moving on though, scalpers really have stooped to a new low. As we all know by this point, there has been some supply issues with the Nintendo Switch as of recent. This is for a number of reasons. One being everything that's happening in the world right now has caused manufacturing issues. Also, the Switch is incredibly popular, and Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is one of the biggest releases in recent years, just came out, so the Switch is in very high demand right now. As always though, scalpers, people who resell rare merchandise for a higher price online, is taking advantage of this situation, and to me this is just sickening. So here's the deal. Scalpers have now been using an auto-buying bot to immediately buy Nintendo Switch consoles on online stores so they can then go resell these Switch consoles at a higher price. Last time I checked, the original Switch consoles were selling for around $550 on eBay, so they're making a pretty big profit off of this move, but this is just so unfortunate. So I think by this point, if you want to buy a Switch, then buying online is going to be really difficult, and if you buy it in person, well, you're putting yourself at risk. Now, Nintendo did say that they will be trying to boost the amount of Nintendo Switch units that they make by 10% compared to last year, so maybe it's possible that we will start to see more Switch units available here soon, but there really is no guarantee on this, especially with this new auto-buying bot that scalpers are using. I actually think that retailers and online stores need to put a stop to this auto-buying bot. The thing about that though is retailers are going to make their money either way, so why should they care? Well, if customers start calling and complaining, they may take it a little bit more serious because they're going to be losing customers that way. And hey, maybe Nintendo could even talk to some of these retailers and urge them to fix the problem. I mean, Nintendo may be selling consoles, but are they selling games? Now, they're going to be making most of their money off games, and new customers means more games sold. So, Nintendo may not like this too much. I mean, we even have a quote from the creator of this auto-buying bot, and he goes by the name of Nate, though who knows if that's actually his real name, and this is what he had to say. Me and my friends were talking about reselling Nintendo Switches, and at one point my friend, nicknamed Bird, told me I should make a bot, and here we are today. So there it is. I guess this is a thing now thanks to Nate and Bird. I mean, they probably don't care, but really shame on them. And I know I might be getting a little too worked up over this, but I just find this to be so irritating. But let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Does it bother you or no? It's all opinions at the end of the day, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, in other news, we also might have something very interesting to look forward to in May because insider Daniel Ahmad is claiming that there will be a console games showcase much earlier than the original planned E3, which of course takes place sometime in mid-June. Now, Daniel Ahmad says that this event will be much earlier, so possibly sometime in May. The thing is, he doesn't actually confirm who would be doing this event, but there have been several rumors as of late that has Xbox doing some kind of event in May and then another one sometime in June. I have no idea if those rumors are true or not, so I'm not going to claim that they are, but this does line up with that. Daniel Ahmad is, in my opinion, one of the best inside sources in the entire industry. When he says stuff, you know it's accurate. He did, however, say things could change with all these worldwide issues at the moment, but for the time being, we should expect an event to happen as early as May. Could it be Xbox? Maybe PlayStation? I mean, we still haven't seen the PlayStation 5. Let's get the ball rolling here, Sony. Let's see the console, and maybe we see it next month, but no matter what it is, I'm excited to see what's happening next month. And speaking of Sony, we do have one last topic, and this one is a weird one because Sony filed another patent, but this time for an AI robot that would accompany you while you play games or watch movies. Now, this is actually a real-life robot, and it's supposed to share in your emotions. Maybe you laugh and play together or cry with one another over a sad scene. It's actually a pretty detailed patent, though the robot they show in the pictures, of course, will not be the final product, if it even happens at all. You have to remember a patent is no guarantee to ever happen. It just shows that they are thinking about such a product. If it were to happen though, and if it was associated with the PlayStation brand, they could use the Astrobot design. I think that would be a pretty cool idea personally. Astrobot has a very cute design with a lot of character behind it. It's actually my favorite virtual reality game as well, and one of my favorite 3D platformers. Very good game if you haven't tried it. Though I do think this patent is still really interesting just because the technology behind it. I imagine this would be very expensive, and I don't really think it would probably sell too well. I myself don't necessarily want it, but it's still a cool and interesting idea just for the tech reasons alone. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.